Hi, I'm Francisco. I guess this journey to find the job that would be the most beneficial to the poorest truly started when I decided to find out if true happiness comes from altruism, as Mathieu Ricard, the world's happiest man in the world, said when I met him in Mexico. When I left Google, I flew to India thanks to the donations of dear friends, and I was shocked by the levels of poverty, the number of poor people, and the state of the environment. I volunteered at a village where there was no running water, no toilets, just open fields and waste everywhere. I learned to eat, sleep, and work on the floor, like rural people. We audited the government to find acts of corruption in the payments of pensions and wages on an employment scheme for rural people. What really shocked me was when I met Rishika, a 33-year-old widowed woman who is an English teacher and makes only $50 per month. I can't stop thinking of her and her daughter. Her husband had died in a motorcycle accident and was a worker of this employment scheme that employs 20% of the population. Rural poor have to construct dams and water ponds under the 43 Celsius degree sunlight, breaking rocks and soil with nothing but hand tools for just minimum wages. However, this scheme was actually a big victory for rural India because before, these 270 million poor people didn't even have these jobs secured. But they still need a lot of help to have a decent life. That makes earning living wages, not minimum wages. I recommended to conduct an impact analysis on the community on every new work granted by the government, and to include new works to solve more problems and employ much more people. But socio-political activism is not about urban people visiting communities and saying what they think that needs to happen there. It's about immersing oneself during years or decades in a poor and marginalized community, like anthropologists do, and working with the rural people to discover the solutions that the most disadvantaged have to propose to the social injustices that are being committed on them. It's also about being connected to all the relevant people in the main cities. Then, groups of people need to be mobilized so that they can fight for their rights. Laws will be enforced and created which will guarantee the right to live, the right to work, the right to information, the right to association, the right to eat. I found my role model Aruna Roy because I researched online for the most effective way to fight social injustice and inequality. The answer is called socio-political activism. I was extremely lucky as I got the chance to volunteer for her, and I even went to her house and saw the room that she shared with four more people during years. She has fought tirelessly for the poor for 48 years and created a socio-political organization that has mobilized thousands of people by doing long walking protests, fasting, and demanding their rights. Her movement obtained the Right of Information Act of India and the rural employment scheme that I mentioned. When I get back to Mexico, I will get together with lawyers, professors, philanthropists, media personalities, economists, human rights activists, righteous politicians, labor union figures, and intellectuals to gain first a top-bottom understanding of the underlying roots of poverty in Mexico. The idea is that through grassroots work and understanding, a participatory democracy framework can be developed by the rural and urban people that will be strong enough to advocate for public initiatives. This is the bottom-top approach, the only one that has actually a chance at solving these worldwide issues. So I'll immerse myself into one of the poorest, most remote and marginalized communities of Mexico, with the intent to discover the needs that are affecting indigenous people, women, and the poorest. To succeed in this environment, I've been increasing my knowledge in several subjects such as law, politics, democracy, ethics, philosophy, environment, human rights, women's rights, among others. But this is not enough. I need you to become a change maker. I need you to surround myself with change makers. I need you to take myself to a whole new level. When I was at a Vipassana meditation retreat in Nepal, I shared a room with an American finance guy, an entrepreneur who became a dear friend, Calvin Liu. He attended a revolutionary program that connects the most powerful innovators and entrepreneurs in the world, who have as their goal to create social change. The program is called Hive. I was thrilled by the idea, quickly applied and was accepted to the Global Leadership Program. Only 10% of applicants enter. Attending this leadership program will take me to that next level. I'll be surrounded by gold medal Olympians, astronauts, leaders from the World Bank, philanthropists, the UN, and top CEOs. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, but I can't do it myself. I need you. I need your support because to get into this program, I need to raise $1,200 in 10 days. I need to be surrounded by leaders who are working on projects, but also who can connect to the most relevant people for my project. This campaign is not really about helping me enter this global leadership program. It's about making me stronger to help poor families in Mexico, which represent 50% of the population, to help indigenous communities, which represent 10% of the population and are 4 times poorer than the average citizen, to help women and girls who are abused and marginalized, to help women like Rishika to obtain living wages, not minimum wages, like those in Ecuador, the only country in the world to have adopted this social scheme, to fight at a local and then at a national scale for wages, for pensions, for work, for food, for water, for electricity, for progressive taxes on the richest, and against corruption, to fight for the purest form of justice, giving everyone what they deserve for just for being in the world that we live in, as it is now. Okay, let's talk money. I have a tuition scholarship from Hive of $750. Almost no one has gotten this aid, but they've been holding my spot for several months as I was volunteering in India, so I need to take this opportunity now. I just need to raise $1,200 additional dollars. Help me to achieve this goal by making a donation of $25, $50, or $100 right now. Your investment in me will be an investment in the rural, poor, and marginalized people I'll be helping, like Rishika and her family.